Sidearm cast is taking a bait that won't skip, giving it a lot of momentum, a lot of steam off of the rod tip, and able to get that bait out there a good 15, 20, 25 yard cast. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel, and today's video on casting styles, casting techniques is about the sidearm cast. And the application where I see myself using a sidearm cast is a lot of times when I'm using a bait, again, that won't skip, kind of like the roll cast if you've been following along with our videos. Yeah, similar to the roll cast in that it's a bait that I can't skip, such as an OG Slim or a top water, something with treble hooks. But it's when I need more distance than what the roll cast will allow. That roll cast is a pretty short deal. With a sidearm cast, I don't have quite the distance I can with a two-hand overhand cast, but this is a two-hand, really a lot of effort coming from the side. But when I'm still, maybe I'm a further way away from a low overhanging deal, whether that's cypress trees kind of come to mind first thing as having, low branches and that kind of stuff. Maybe even pole docks that are up out of the water a little bit, where you've got, at least a couple feet of clearance between the dock and the water, and you're able to make a good cast under there. That's actually, this Slim fell victim to a low dock and a bad sidearm cast was when he met his demise. So that's why we're using him in here in the garage today, because I do make mistakes myself. Every cast is not perfect out there for me on the water, and sometimes one will bite the dust. But yeah, a sidearm cast is taking a bait that won't skip, giving it a lot of momentum, a lot of steam off of the rod tip, and able to get that bait out there a good, sometimes 20, 30 yard, or probably not 30, getting that bait out there a good, 15, 20, 25 yard cast still, and able to get that bait down into the strike zone. So kind of what I do, the wind up on it is going to be pretty similar to that of what a two-hand cast would be. But again, just the fact that it's going to be a sidearm type swing, this is actually a really hard one to do in here in the garage properly, because if I do this well, I'm going to peg the boat right here behind me. So I'm not going to let loose of the bait, but it is very much a side swing. And a lot of times I find myself, kind of rotating at the hip to kind of get down, because I'm trying to make this cast, the whole thing at a low angle. I'm not really raising the rod tip as the bait goes out. This is mostly a bullet. I'm trying to shoot this thing at the side at a really straight line, at a really good trajectory right off the side of the boat. This is actually a cast I will find myself at times taking a knee on the deck of the boat, just to get myself at a little bit lower angle to where I can then, make a good cast that way. If there's low stuff in front of me, but maybe I've got a long way out through there that I can open this thing up. So just straight off to the side, depending on the angle or just how high, whatever that lowest thing is whether I'm going to get down and take a knee, or I'm just going to make that cast standing up. Another place where this seems to really apply is low bridges. I love to throw a crankbait on riprap around bridges, and some of those may be, as I pull up to it, it may be this high. It's a couple foot lower than what my eye level is. That is a great time to bend down, get on one knee, and make a good sidearm cast under there. One big thing to watch out for when you're doing this, one is the boat itself, whether that's the windshield if you're casting off of that side, or it's the trolling motor, So being in a good position in the boat itself is really key when you're trying to make a good, hard sidearm cast, because either one of those will end up with a busted bait if you make a bad one. Bouncing off the trolling motor or the windshield's not gonna end well. You're probably gonna have a big backlash in your reel to cut out, as well as a busted bait on the end of your line. So again, a big tip with this, taking a knee in those situations. If you're up pretty close to whatever that low piece is and there's a lot of water back there behind you, it's just going to allow you to see everything that's going on and come back and make that good hard swing either side. This is not one where I cross my body, so I'm not gonna, if I'm gonna do this with my right hand, it's gonna be over here, and the left hand on the bottom of the rod, right hand on the reel. Or if I'm on my left side, left hand's on the reel, right hand's on the rod. I never cross those, never do a cross body cast, or what I would call it. You know, kind of like I do with a roll cast. This is always in that hand. I'm not in my off hand with the rod or reel. It's in the correct hand for whichever arm is working the reel at that point. So kind of one of this kind of number is what that's going to look like. Again, this little Slim has already seen his better days. So yeah, very, you know, cast kind of like that. This is actually a pretty good place to demonstrate how to do it, because I can't get it too high, and you know, don't want to get it too low either. Trying to keep it above, and he just wrapped around everything. Oh, here he comes. Not gonna be much left of this dude when we're done. Yeah, just a good, you know, good swing off to the side. It's not that two-hand, you know, over shoulder cast, but very similar to it in that the way that you work the rod on your hands, but just really on that low angle, kind of making that slice with the rod. So that is the sidearm cast. Again, something that I've caught a lot of fish with in tournaments. It's been one that has really, you know, has helped me win different events. I think like the Harris chain down in Florida, I caught a lot of those fish on Slim, cranking around boat docks and stuff, and trying to get it as far back under that dock so I could get the bait down near the bottom. And that's a big thing with this. It's a cast you're able to get some good distance with, and really put some heat on and get it out there and get that bait down. It works really, really well with the crankbait in those situations where it's kind of tough to throw a crankbait. And I like that, because I feel like you're able to show fish something in a place where they're traditionally not seeing that bait. You know, and that to me is why a sidearm cast can be really effective for crankbait fishing in and around cover, under those bridges, places where other people are going to say, I'm just going to throw a bladed jig or a spinnerbait, something I can throw in there, let sink, and then fish it along the bottom. I'm able to put a bait like a crankbait in there where I feel like I get more of a reaction bite out of those fish because of that sidearm cast. So hope this works for you out there on the water, and do some practice with it, but it is definitely one that you'll see, I think, will be well rewarded in the long run.